Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. Today we're going to be talking about the three biggest cryptos on the market, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and giving you guys an idea of what to expect tomorrow with these elections. When I look back at every single prior cycle, I've had the opportunity of trading through three different elections, and what I've noticed throughout that time is that Bitcoin seems to do its own thing. When we're going to be zooming out and looking at these prior cycles, it's going to make a lot of sense to you guys investing today, and I wanted to make sure that we're prepared and positioned because 2025 is going to be a life-changing year regardless of which president wins. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you find any value in this video, please do me a favor, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. And without further ado, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Now everybody's obviously talking about which president is going to be getting elected tomorrow. Are we going to be getting Kamala Harris, the first female president, or is this going to be a Donald Trump driven election? I think that the market up to this point has anticipated Donald Trump. All of the different random polls, Polymarket and whatnot, they've all shown Donald Trump winning by a huge margin, but I don't really know how much we can trust some of these different polls that are out there. I don't know how accurate any of them are. We know that we can't trust the mainstream news. We probably can't trust some of these homemade polls that, are just mainly betting sites, because I don't think that those are obviously going to be telling the complete picture either. Now, when we're looking at Bitcoin, I think that the best thing that we can do is look at what the prior cycles have done. Now, we have had Donald Trump winning one election all the way back in 2016. We saw Joe Biden win in the last election. And now I think that we're getting kind of that same debate. Is it going to be a Republican? Is it going to be a Democrat? And how the market is going to behave. I've seen people anticipating a massive dump if Kamala wins. I've heard people talking about how the market's just going to boom if Trump wins. But, for me personally, I think that the best thing we can do is just look back and how the prior cycles have behaved when the president was actually elected. Coming all the way back down to 2016, this would have been when I first got into crypto. I got into crypto at $450, and I remember watching this election. Now, when we're looking at the election, this happened November the 8th of 2016, and we saw that take place, and the market instantly started to really run into a new all-time high. Obviously, we got these pullbacks. However, for the most part, Bitcoin was already bullish. We had already broken out of this downtrend right here. We had already retested this bottom in the double bottom formation. We had broken out of that formation and retested it as new support. And we had already consolidated, and made two different higher highs. So the market was already bullish is what I'm trying to say. Looking at Bitcoin, 2017 was the biggest bull run that we'd ever seen. And I think a lot of that was really intensified because of the market conditions. If you're looking at the stock market from all the way back in that last cycle, what we notice here is we went through this long-term correction. We peaked in the early 2000s. We made this big sell-off. We rallied all the way back up until the point of the 2008 elections. Obama gets elected, and then we top again, make this massive sell-off all the way back to 2009, and then we started that uptrend back up. And it was actually over here, the market had just went into a new all-time high, and then that was the point where Donald Trump got elected. And what we can see is the market reacted very, very bullishly to that. The market instantly started going into a new all-time high, but it was really, the precedent had already been set. The market had already broken out, it had already made that new all-time high, and it was really the secondary portion of that price discovery that Donald Trump got elected. So the markets were really bullish at that point. The market conditions were favorable. And I do believe that what we're looking at with Bitcoin today is similar, considering, looking at the SPX now, we did just run into a new all-time high. We made this massive breakout, over a year-long bear market that we were in this consolidation for, and then we started running into a new all-time high. So I do believe that the market conditions are actually really similar to what we ended up seeing in that early cycle of 2016, and the reason why that 2017 cycle was actually so bullish. Now, coming into our last cycle, we ended up seeing Donald Trump losing, Joe Biden getting elected, and the market still acted bullish. The market was still breaking out as we had all of that election turmoil that was going on throughout that entire time. People storming the Capitol, all of that stuff was taking place. The market of Bitcoin was still bullish. And that's why I tell you guys that regardless of which candidate wins, I do believe that it's going to be a lot more bullish for crypto. If a Kamala wins, if Donald Trump wins, it's not really going to change anything for crypto because crypto was obviously bullish before. We saw this massive run into a new all-time high after Joe Biden won. 2021. We were in the middle of a global pandemic. So as far as negative sort of stimulation for a crypto bear market, we saw the opposite reaction in Bitcoin. So when I'm coming over here and looking at the price of Bitcoin today, we're really just consolidating all the way back up here at these range highs. We weren't able to get a true breakout quite yet. Obviously, we saw this close back below it, but we have elections coming up tomorrow. We're consolidating right below those prior all-time highs. We're also right at that downtrending resistance as well. So, you could draw this a couple different ways. Either we're closing just under it like that, which I think is a little bit more accurate. I don't think that we've confirmed a breakout quite yet. But if we were to see, the election results come in next week, I think that regardless of who wins, the market's going to be pricing in a run all the way back up to 100K. We're going to be seeing the market break out into a true new all-time high, true price discovery for the first time this cycle. That's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. Every single election has been bullish, regardless. It's always at the point of the cycle when Bitcoin's already ready to run into a new all-time high. So when we're looking at Bitcoin at the same point that it's always been at this, time frame of elections, it doesn't really change anything. So that's why I'm anticipating that Bitcoin is going to be very bullish regardless of who's winning. And when we're coming over here and looking at even our other charts, there's a couple things that we can pay attention to. Now, if Bitcoin's going to be bullish, I do believe that Ethereum is going to end up finding support in here. Now, when I'm looking at Ethereum, I see a couple scenarios, but both of these scenarios are showing that this is just an A, B, and a C correction. Now, the question that I have, the debate, is where we're at inside of this wave C. I do see a potential where we actually went for one more lower low. But if that was the case, Bitcoin would have to pull back up here. We'd probably come all the way back down to that 60 to 62K region, and then that would be where we got a reversal set in. Now, if that's the case, then ETH probably would make a lower low. We'd probably come all the way back down to this trend line, and if Bitcoin was to go that low, I wouldn't be surprised if ETH actually sold all the way back down to 1500 in a really quick sort of way before we got that reversal. That would just be kind of the bearish scenario that I see for Ethereum. However, the scenario that I see where Ethereum actually just holds the support is really where this is a wave 1, this is a wave 3, and a wave 4, and this was our extended wave 5. So we're already done with this correction. This is just consolidation before we break bullish and start the reversal back up. Those are the two scenarios that I see here for Ethereum. But oftentimes, in these final capitulations, I've seen them break down from these trend lines. This is the most obvious place where people are anticipating the market to bottom. And if we were to break down from this triangle type formation, lose that support, and come back down to this support, I do find it likely we would make one more lower low before that reversal set in. But, we're going to have to watch and see. Up to this point, Ethereum has just lagged. It's underperformed. And when we're looking at the price of Solana has maintained its uptrend all the way back up here, retesting near those prior all-time highs. It's just retesting this downtrending resistance. So as Bitcoin is yet to break out, same thing for Solana. It's unable to break out, but we are pretty much sitting right here at that horizontal resistance as new support. So is this going to hold? I don't know, but it would be likely. When we're sitting here having this big run into the elections, I think that regardless of who wins, we've already looked at the price performance in history, and it's already been bullish regardless of that election result. And so I am anticipating it's going to be more of the same. Solana sitting on support is a lot more of a bullish setup. Even though we did get rejected at these range highs, I think that we can reverse here, and that's going to set in that first major breakout into price discovery. When we zoom out on the long-term basis, Solana's maintained its uptrend. As Ethereum, it's lagged. It's came all the way back down to its lower levels in its consolidation like this. Solana's maintained its uptrend. So I do anticipate more of the same for Solana, although I'm not thinking that Ethereum is dead. I do think that Ethereum, once it reverses, it's going to really play catch up in a big way, and we can see this thing really start to break out and actually outperform Bitcoin, outperform Solana, even though Solana will be running into a new all-time high. Solana kind of got that first early rotation, and that's why we saw outperform up to this point, but I don't believe that Ethereum is dead. I do think that Ethereum will catch up and kind of lead in the same ways that it has. It's just that this cycle is behaving a little bit differently up to this point. So when I'm looking at the long term, I think that we should just be level-headed, continue to focus in on the fact that the elections don't really matter that much. If we're looking at Bitcoin being bullish up to this point, I think that regardless of who wins, it's going to continue to be more of the same. So focus on the long term, focus on 2025. We're set to make a lot of money that year, and I just want you guys to be aware of the most important things moving into this cycle, because there's a lot of noise. There's going to to be a lot of talks, and most of it's just not going to matter if we pay attention to the long-term time frames. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you did find any value, please do me a favor, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. If you want to see anything I'm investing in over the course of this bull run, getting ready to drop a top 10s coin list if you guys want to check that out. Links are going to be in the description. Go ahead and check out my website, get total access to anything I'm doing with my portfolio. So check it out. Links are in the description. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.